All right. Well, hey, super excited about today of having Kevin Harrington on the show. Kevin, we met back, I think it was about 5 years ago. You came and spoke at our event as the guest speaker. And you know what really stood out to me most is sometimes, you pay the guest speaker and they kind of swoop in right before they speak. They speak and they're gone. And that just was the opposite of you. I mean, I think you were even around the night before, but you were there the entire day. You listened to everybody. You helped us with our speeches as well, gave us very great, insight on that. And I thought that was so cool. And not only that, is that we exchange numbers. And, a lot of times, I give my numbers to agents and they never use it, but it's like, you know what? I'm going to use it. So I reached out and we've been, I have to say, been like kind of distant friends ever since. If I text you,
playing some golf and hanging out. That's what it's all about, right?
Right. But I just thought it was so cool that if I text you, like you respond and I'm not looking to get anything out of you. And I've told you that before. It's just kind of like, it's just a friendship. So
that's awesome.
So cool.
Hanging with you guys. And also, I love to golf every now and then. So if you're in the state, we try to get together.
That's right. Exactly. When I'm in Florida, I always hit you up and it doesn't always work. That day was pretty funny. It was me and you versus my brother-in-law, Bobby, and stepfather-in-law, Bob, which Jeff knows because he's a relative in the family. And we couldn't have been, especially you, more competitive. And we were playing for literally dollars, like singles into a hole. And I mean, it was very distinct. He'd be like, "Now, what's Bobby shooting for now? Is that his third shot?"
Oh yeah, I am. I like having some juice on every shot. It just makes you got to be on your toes. As a matter of fact, yesterday at this exact hour, I was on the golf course getting lessons, to get my game organized for the weekend. So, I'm every single week, I'm just looking to just keep dropping that score just a touch. So can't wait till we get out and try it again. I think we'll definitely have some fun.
For sure.
Good for you. And Kevin Molnaric, this is going to be tough with both Kevins, but Kevin Harrington, that was my first conference ever. I was in college when Kevin Molnaric asked me to come to the event. And you were a big inspiration to me because I was watching Shark Tank, all the episodes, and all of a sudden I see you speaking, and it was pretty incredible. I will absolutely say Kevin is right about you coming up and engaging with others, and I think you do a really good job because some conferences I go to, it's not the case. So kudos to you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Awesome.
Well, the thing that you're known for, of course, the biggest thing is Shark Tank. But I know from knowing you and from, listening to your speech is that you are like the beginner of the infomercial. Like you created the infomercial. So tell us a little bit about that. Maybe, the inspiration and the foresight that you had. I remember like buying, these time slots for pennies on the dollar. But
exactly. So I call myself a serial entrepreneur. So I'm born and raised Cincinnati, Ohio, and I go back to the early 80s. That's 40 years ago. I was a young entrepreneur. Okay. Now I call myself an old entrepreneur. But so here I was 40 years ago. And I was a business broker selling pizza parlors, delicatessens, flower shops, manufacturing companies, had the books and records, insurance agencies, you name it, we sold it. I sold thousands of businesses and franchises along the way. But it was very educational for me because I had the books and records of these companies I was selling. So I had sort of an inner working of hundreds of companies and I was able to analyze their costs and their expenses and their rents and their leases and all the different things that were going on inside their company. So I tended to learn a lot about a lot of industries. I started investing in some of these companies. This was my pre-Shark days, but here I ordered cable television, bought a house, and the very first package of cable was 30 channels. And today, if you order cable or streaming, you get hundreds of channels. But 40 years ago, it was 30. You had ESPN, 24 hours of sports,
Right.
MTV, 24 hours of music, the HBO movies. But I got to the last channel, channel 30, and there was nothing on. And so I called the cable company and I said, hey, I really love cable. It's 24 hours of sports and movies and music, but there's nothing on channel 30. And they said, oh, it's a new channel. It's Discovery. They don't have a budget for 24 hours a day. It's only an 18-hour-a-day channel. And we, as the cable operator, if we get 18 hours, that's all we send on. And, so 18 hours is the programming, and then there's 6 hours of downtime. And so the downtime is nothing. And I said, well, what are you doing with the downtime? And they said, well, what do you mean? I said, well, can I buy that time? And they said, come on down. So I did, and I started putting products on the air and taking that time in the early 80s. And that was really the birth. I was fortunate enough. I ended up tuning into this world of the pitchmen. And there was I was at the Philadelphia Home Show, and a guy had a knife in his hand. He's cutting through a Coca-Cola can and through a muffler and a pair of sneakers, because it's the Ginsu knife. He's pitching the Ginsu. And so when he got done, I said, hey, that was an unbelievable pitch. You sold a ton of knives. Why don't we film it and put it up on the airtime that I own? And so that's what we started doing. And we did the knives, and then we did the Jack LaLanne juicer, George Foreman, Tony Little Fitness. And now fast forward, I've done over 1,000 infomercials. We've done literally now we've built over $15 billion worth of businesses from scratch. And so it's been a 40-year run. We've taken companies public, and we've had some of the most awesome product launches that you could ever imagine. In fact, one of them I have to tell you about, because here's a product that we launched 10 years ago. Okay. Now, are you familiar with this product?
Yeah. Kevin, I wish I had it right here. Oh yeah, I drink those nonstop.
You've got one there? Let me see.
I said I wish I had one.
Oh, okay.
I'm a big fan.
I drink one of these a day. But this company was a $2 million company 10 years ago. $2 million. Today, it's a $15 billion company. Wow. The stock went from 10 cents to $200. And so you can check it out. This is an awesome company and an awesome product. I was on the board for 10 years, and this is what I like to do. I like to get involved at the ground floor and build awesome value. So I've been involved with dozens of public companies. This is a public company. I helped raise hundreds of millions of dollars inside this company along the way.
Can't even
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
That's so cool. How was it working with the exercise guy like Tony Little and Jack LaLanne? What was that? The Gazelle?
It's funny. Tony Little's birthday is this weekend. And he said, Kevin, what are we doing? He and I are 3 weeks apart in age.
Okay.
And so he's like, we always celebrate somewhere, whether it's his birthday or mine. This year, we're going to celebrate his birthday. But Tony Little has done billions of dollars. Yeah. It's unbelievable how successful this guy has been out in the marketplace. And we did the ab isolator, we did the target training, we did the Gazelle. Yeah. I mean, the Gazelle, that was hundreds of millions of dollars. And so, working with some of these people, Jack LaLanne and the juicer, Tony Little, these people were awesome to work with. Now, I will tell you that we've had a few that weren't so awesome, but a few celebrities. I could tell you a few stories, but I don't like to talk bad about people. Right. But yeah, not every celebrity is a Tony Little or even, by the way, I did Kim Kardashian's first infomercial.
I know it.
One of the sweetest girls you'd ever want to meet. She's a very nice person, and Kim is awesome. I did a lot of work with her mom. Kris Jenner. And so when we first started, I was like, oh, this could be very interesting. And wow, it was a really cool relationship we developed there with the Jenners and obviously Kim along the way.
What year was that?
That was the year that they were starting the TV show.
Wow.
So I don't remember exactly what year that was, but it was right at the very beginning. So so Kim had achieved some level of recognition out in the market, but she was not known as, like the big global Kim Kardashian at that particular time. Of course, her mom had already achieved some pretty good stardom and all of that. But that family has had a lot of ups and downs over the years. But at the end of the day, they built one hell of a branded business, and all of those. I mean, between Kris Jenner and now 3 billionaire kids, it's pretty awesome to be managing those brands.
Pretty well known now.
Cool.
For sure. Hey, let's switch gears a little bit to your book, The Mentor to Millionaires. And, I see here that your dad was a big influence, Charlie, in your life. So, I'd love to hear more about that.
Yeah.
My father was, when I was growing up as a kid, my dad was actually, he was a working man. He was a bartender. And he had desires to be his own boss and his own own his own business. And so he saved up money and he opened up Harrington's Irish Pub, and then he opened up another one and then another one. And I started working inside his restaurants and bars when I was 11 years old. And so it was pretty awesome having a father. I mean, here I was, 11 years old. I was bar backing and busboy and dishwashing and you name it, whatever it took, right? But my dad was the owner, and I wasn't just a laborer. My dad would grab me and say, okay, today we're going to go run to all our suppliers. We're going to go to the liquor store. We're going to go here. We're going to go. And so I was learning the supply side. Then at the end of the day, he would be in there counting the money and he would show me, okay, this is what we did in the bar business and this is what we did in the restaurant business. And we've got these percentages and boom, 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 boom. So my dad, he would bring me into the business and not just, hey, go wash the dishes, but one night the chef was taking out the garbage. And my dad's like, Kevin, follow me. I don't know what's going on, but this chef barely does what I tell him to do, let alone why is he taking the garbage out? So we follow the chef out, and there's lobster tails and steaks and everything in there that he was taking out to get later, right? Yeah. I mean, hundreds of dollars worth of food that he was stealing. And of course, that was his last day working for us. But I mean, I learned just real quick, the guy that was delivering kegs of beer, he'd bring 2 full ones in, take 2 empties back to the truck. And my dad said, okay, I'm busy. You count how many kegs we get. Well, the guy's going back to the truck with 2 empties. And my dad's like, hey, wait a minute, sir. Can I see what you're taking back to the truck? He said, I'm just taking 2 empties. Well, let me see that they're empty. The first one's empty. The bottom one's full. He's delivering 2 full kegs of beer and taking back 1 full keg of beer, getting over on an 11-year-old. So I learned the hard way what it was like owning your own business at 11 years old. But my dad then, he sold all of his restaurants, and I started a business brokerage business, and he actually came into that business and worked with me for a number of years then at that point. So I worked for my dad when I was a kid, then he retired and he came to work for me, and we had a great 20-year relationship in business together that was awesome.
What a story.
That's really cool.
That's something you and Gabe got to do. Yeah. And we got to hit the Harrington Irish Bar for sure. I looked it up right away. I'm like, we gotta do that.
So that's still out there, huh?
It's still out there.
Yeah,
really. It was Harrington's Irish Pub. It's called the MLT, but it was on the Super Bowl 2 years ago when the Bengals were playing, they went back to one of the most famous bars in Cincinnati. It was my dad's place that he sold, but my dad passed away a few years ago now. He's 93 years old, but God bless him. He was an awesome entrepreneur and restaurateur in the Cincinnati area.
Well, he must have taught you a great work ethic, because I cannot believe your energy. I mean, just when you think that like for sure you have enough that you can just, play golf every day. Like, we were just talking how it's like you cut your day down to 40 hours.
Right.
And your motor just never stops running. So, we have a big audience of insurance agents, as you know. And, what is it that you can tell them? How did you get that work ethic from your father, as far as like just motor never stopping?
Yeah, I'm going to say this. I think one of the things that I did, and people will ask me, "Hey, how'd you get on Shark Tank?" Right? And so I actually, this is a really interesting story. I had an opportunity to go down and visit with Richard Branson at Necker Island, and I was sitting with Richard, and I wanted mentoring advice from Richard. And it was he and I one-on-one. Yeah. We had a 7:30 a.m. breakfast meeting. And everyone else was still sleeping because the night before they'd been out till 2 a.m. But Richard and I said, "Hey, I don't drink." Richard's very calm. And he said, "Kevin," he said, "everyone's crazy here." He said, "How come you're not doing all the crazy stuff?" I said, I don't drink and I don't this. I said, "Hey, well, let's meet in the morning." And so Richard sat there and he says, "Kevin," he said, "I love what you've done with that whole Last Seen on TV business, but let me ask you a question. When like that Tony Little guy, you did an amazing job with him, right? Building his brand and creating billions of dollars." And I said, "Yes." He said, "But Kevin, you really screwed up." And I said, "What do you mean?" He said, "Well, you built his brand. You built billions for him. Yes, you made money, but you didn't build your brand to tie into that." And so he said, "You need to build your brand." And that I came out of there with a game plan to start creating content, writing books, and building what I call my dream team. And this is a phrase that I've used. Kevin, I know you know that term, and it's Jeff. Building a dream team is important. Having the right people around you, and even in insurance, you need the right insurance people. They're part of the dream team, and this is a service that you guys provide to your clients. Is you've been doing this for years, and you are experts in your area. And so when we were selling businesses, the person would ask, "I need insurance. Who should I call? What should I get?" Well, we had a dream team member we sent them to, right? Yeah. So the bottom line is that when all of this was happening back in the day, I said, I need to build my brand. So I started writing books, creating content. And as I was promoting the books on radio talk shows and podcasts and this and that, who was listening? Mark Burnett. And he was doing a new TV show. So that's how I got the phone call. So I purposely set out to build my brand, to create content, to write books, to shoot videos. And little did I know that someone in Hollywood like Mark Burnett would be on the other side of that saying, "Hey, this guy might be a good guy to talk to about being a shark on this new show we're doing called Shark Tank." And so it got me the meeting with Mark Burnett, and the rest is history. But the bottom line is yes, every agent that's out there listening right now is an entrepreneur. Right. They're out there building their business. They're building their book. And how do you build a bigger book? You've got to get out, make it happen, get in front of crowds, speak, create content, shoot videos, network, go to, I'll say to people, even start your own organization. And they say, "Well, what do you mean by that?" Well, a lot of folks don't even remember or realize I was one of the founders of EO, the Entrepreneurs Organization, in 1987. Myself and Michael Dell Ted Leonsis, who was the #2 guy at AOL. And now Ted owns the Washington Capitals and the Wizards. And of course, Michael Dell is Michael Dell. But I was the third of the group there. And we started this group called Entrepreneurs Organization. It's the world's largest entrepreneurial organization. It's 150 countries, over 200 cities around the world. So that raised my profile. And these are the kinds of things that entrepreneurs and insurance agents that are listening need to be thinking about. How can you raise your profile and, as I call it, become a key person of influence in your industry?
Right. Yeah, I see that. The authority and influence is what you always are preaching, and having that A team and in surrounding yourself. This is what you've done awesome, is surrounding yourself with the best. I mean, to be at Richard Branson's house, right? I mean, to get in those circles, you knew it, and just a great.
And I got to say something here. I know we don't have a ton of time, and we want to ask you a ton of questions. But first off, as seen on TV, that was the most reliable Christmas gift each year for my family, for Kevin. And I'm a terrible shopper, right? So I go in there. It's a small shop. Boom. But
$20 will get you something cool.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, I do have a question for you. I might know the answer because I've seen every Shark Tank episode, I believe. But Kevin, what was the craziest or most intense pitch you ever got offered on Shark Tank?
Well, I had quite a few. I mean, the one that just hits me when you said that, this woman came out and she shows a video, and you got to remember, you got 5 sharks. We're business entrepreneurs, investors. Right. She comes out, she shows a video of a cat jumping on a toilet, going to the bathroom, and then jumping off the toilet. All right. And we're all like breaking out laughing. What the heck is this? She says, introducing City Kitty. And it's a cat toilet training system, teaches the cat, throw the litter box away. It's healthier. The cats aren't running through the house with all the stuff in the litter box on the bottom of their feet. And so now they jump up on the toilet. And we use this product in the movie Meet the Fockers. If you remember when Robert De Niro had the cat jump on the toilet in that movie.
Oh, really?
I mean, it was awesome. So she had a very powerful pitch. And I did the deal because I realized, I said, this is going to be sort of a gag gift kind of an idea, right?
Yeah.
And I said, if I invest in this company, I'm going to get it on every talk show out there. And that was in my mind. So what did I do after I did the deal? I got it on the Today Show, Good Morning America, Wendy Williams, The View. We just kept going, a dozen plus TV shows, generating millions of dollars in sales and millions of dollars in profit. This was a very powerful and successful product. One of the other ones, many people remember, Scrub Daddy. I got involved in that one. Lori Grenier was the lead on that, but we handled certain distribution for Scrub Daddy, et cetera, et cetera. But, Shark Tank has had some great products that came out of there, and I'm proud to be associated with the brand. And I did 175 segments, and those segments just keep rerunning over and over. And every 6 weeks to 8 weeks, there's a cycle that they're on CNBC. So it's pretty cool to watch some of those old segments. I still love watching back to season 1, 2, 3, et cetera. Some of the segments that I did back in the day.
I see here that you're part of Drip IV, and then the speaker on the belt, right? I saw you.
Yes.
Oh yeah, what was that called? Yeah,
we got a lot of hot stuff going on. Yeah, we also just recently launched. We have a venture with Wicked Tuna TV show.
Yeah,
and that's a really cool item. The umbrella of Wicked Tuna. We're going to be launching food and swag and merch into stores, et cetera, et cetera. So a lot of great stuff going on, and really appreciate getting a chance to hang out with you guys today.
Seriously.
Well, thanks. Been such a pleasure with you today, and look forward. And I will play the Pelican. I'm going to hold you to that.
Well, maybe I can tag along too.
Let me know when you're coming down next, and we're going to do it. All right, guys?
Heck yeah.
All right. Sounds good.
Great hanging out.
Thanks, Kevin. Have a great one.
Yeah.
I appreciate it. Take care.
All right. Well, hey, that was a fun day today, huh?
So cool. Like seeing a guy that you watched all the time on TV. There's just something about it. You're like, yeah, like I'm into it. I'm gonna listen to every
Yeah.
word he says.
And I mean, the amount of success he's had over the years,
Nuts.
unbelievable. Like he literally like invented the infomercial.
And I was looking up like his net worth, for example. He's still killing it. Like he is besides Cuban, he's the most successful shark. And just to think like we got the opportunity to talk to him, and he talked
Yeah.
about how he got to the next level. Now I will say this, and we got to share this with our listeners. We didn't record it on Zoom. And we're really frustrated. Kevin and I just had a 10-minute episode. He went downstairs. I went to the bathroom, and we were very
pouting
upset.
a little bit.
Yes. So I'm hoping
you know
Kevin
what?
can get him back on.
It'll be fine. And I think Kevin is such a cool, down to earth guy. I mean, we're gonna play golf with him at the Pelican,
For sure.
and I've played with him before, and he's a lot of fun. But you better bring your money too.
Well,
because he
if
will
there's
take
one
it.
spot open, like you'll go, but I'll just like hide myself in the bag, and just like pop out. What up, Kevin?
Yeah.
But for
But
sure,
he is a wealth of knowledge.
yes.
For sure. And he surrounds himself with people all through his life. You could just tell that surround himself with people that are, better than like being at Richard Branson's house.
I didn't even know that about.
Ridiculous.
I know you said you wrote it down, but the Kim Kardashian thing, I had no idea. Which is probably, it rings true to any viewer right now, because who doesn't know who Kim Kardashian is?
Right.
Even my grandma knows who that is. So I thought that was absolutely amazing. So he's just the guy who goes in behind the scenes and just makes stuff happen,
Yeah.
right? I mean, that's a good
my
way of
grandma
putting
knows who she is too.
it. She does.
Well, because it's the same grandma.
Oh, yeah. I guess that's
Grandma
a good point.
Norma.
Grandma Norma. For sure.
Funny.
Well, we are super happy about that episode. I hope you guys are too.
Yeah, well,
Like, comment, let us know what your thoughts were, and we'll try to get another shark on here.
Yeah. And, and for those, in the insurance, if there's somebody that you want us to interview,
Yeah.
we would love for you to connect with us and let us know who that might be.
And we'll track him down.
We'll hunt them
make it
down.
happen.
For sure, we will.
Thank
For
you,
sure.
guys.
We got some big ones coming though.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
We got some lined up.
we got some big names.
Doesn't stop
Names-
there.
Names they'll know.
For sure.
Yeah.